Welcome back, 8th grade Bobcats, to another week at the Helena Middle School. Hope everybody had a great weekend, refreshing weekend, and is ready to get back rocking and rolling. On this week's Bob lesson, titled The Importance of 8th Grade Academics, it's part 2 of my sit down with Mr. Kessler, principal at Helena High, where we continue to discuss high school and looking forward a little bit, but most importantly, what we can do to build that foundation now. I'm a firm believer in build a game plan in life. Go find the answers. Go talk to people that are in the know. Go talk to people that have a lot of knowledge and have a lot of information about something that you're either interested in or something you're going to do. In this interview with Mr. Kessler, such a good example of that. So those two things, building a game plan and going and getting the answers and being forward thinking. Hope you guys enjoy part 2. If you were to stop some of maybe the upperclassmen in the hallways at Helena High and just say, hey, I'm doing a Bob lesson with Mr. Flato on 8th grade academics, what are some things you might hear from them that they know now that maybe they didn't know and they wish they would have known in 8th grade, that through the years they have had to learn, and maybe they wish they would have known right now in 8th grade, whether it's about their academics or anything else, I guess?
Yeah, I think this is something that we'll touch base with kids on too, on that Bengal Beginnings, that first day with freshmen. But one message we really like to push out when registration comes as well is, like, take the classes that interest you. I think a lot of times kids get into a situation where they try to manipulate their schedule, or they're going to take ceramics even though they have no interest in ceramics at all, but that's because all their friends are taking it. And then it's a miserable experience for the kid. And we also know in high school, sometimes the friends that you have right now are not going to be the friends that you have by the time you're a freshman, sophomore, senior. So make sure when you're getting to that situation, take the things that interest you, take the things that you want to do, because you might make better friends that way too, within that career path or different path that you want to take. I hear a lot from seniors as well, as they wish they would have taken the harder classes earlier. Sometimes, and they're not for everybody, and we get that, but it's okay to challenge yourself. I think we sometimes get too caught up on that valedictorian stance, or, a perfect GPA, which is great. And we love when kids push themselves to get to that situation, but don't not take a class because of that worry. Challenge the skills that you're going to gain in those classes is way more important than some of those other things that might come from that. And then just back to that, asking questions, use your resources. We have amazing resources here. So utilize them.
Yeah, there's so many adults there, just like HMS, that are there to help kids and help students. They just got to ask the questions, right?
Yeah.
The next question, you get into high school, we start talking about college and career readiness a little bit more. Kids start to understand a little bit more who they are, what they're about. I'm going to sit here and say college isn't for everybody. High school graduation is for everybody. College isn't for everybody. There's multiple pathways to success these days, and I feel like that is now more than ever. But what would you say to maybe that student that is at Helena High or at HMS in 8th grade that is on that college path, has aspirations maybe someday to go to college, but they feel like maybe they don't have the resources, whether that's financial resources or family support, to go to college? What would you say to that student?
Don't let that be the reason you don't. It's really that simple. There are so many opportunities right now to help get those collegiate credits and give yourself a good baseline for that within our state, and a lot of them transfer out of state as well if that's where you end up going. Really, for collegiate classes, that your junior years, when you start to be able to really access those, that's just a state kind of piece to that with age-wise. But every college, except for really the private ones in our state, you can do the 1-2 free program. So your first 6 credits at any of those colleges are free. And then after that, you get a high school rate if you continue, which is typically 50 to 60% off the traditional tuition rate. So we like to push all of those kids to be taking as many college classes as you can get. while we're in that dual credit, dual enrollment status as a high schooler. We have kids right now that leave here with, they're basically going in to their second semester of their sophomore year of college based on all the credits that they've been able to
Wow,
earn.
that's incredible. Yeah.
And really at a very low cost. And if you still can't afford those, we can help you. We're going to figure out a way to make sure that you're able to gain access to that. And we work really closely with Helena College as our main partner with that, and the resources that they have. They want to see every kid get what they need to also. And that even goes with, getting those initial classes needed to even pump you up in an apprenticeship or an internship. Possibility of college isn't your thing, which is fine. But even those baseline classes will get you higher pay, will get you, into those positions even quicker than if you don't. So I just ask, really, I guess, is my thing. We'll find a way to make it happen for you.
Yeah, those students that are currently in Spanish 1 with Mr. Zepeda, or are in Honors Math 1 or Algebra 1 right now, they're already kind of one step ahead. And then kind of looping back to something that you talked about early on, even if you're not in Spanish or Algebra 1 or Honors Math 1 right now, you can totally still get there with the dual credit thing in high school. But it comes back to that thing you first talked about. That's going to be a bigger barrier if we don't come in prepared to Helena High School and we fail a couple of classes, because now we got to retake that class. And down the line, there's a trickle down effect where you could have been taking an AP class, but you get yourself further behind. And so, wow, that excellent answer. Thank you for that. Just because I know your time is very valuable, maybe what's just your final piece of advice for our 8th graders here? It's their last year at Helena Middle School. I will say I hear from a lot of high school kids that, we miss HMS, and they didn't think they would. And but I'm always excited for them to move on. You're going to miss places, but moving on is a part of life that's necessary. And there's some equally as awesome educators and adults at the high school level as well, that it just takes time to make those relationships. But what is your final piece of advice for our 8th graders as they have this last foundational preparation year before starting at Helena High?
Yeah, I would say have fun. Being in that building, I also went to Helena Middle School a couple of years ago. I was there, but I miss that place too. It's a great place, and you have amazing people there. So enjoy your last couple months, that you have there with those people, and continue to build those relationships, because those are going to be the people that are in your life forever. And so take advantage of that, but also start to think through, like, what is high school going to look like for you? As you start to think about, now you're going to be with kids that are older than you again. And, what does that maturity look like? And how do I prepare myself to be ready to be an integral member of our school, and to come in and take full advantage of what you can here at Helena High? Because you're getting ready, as much as it might seem far away. You're only a few 4.5 years shy of being an adult. So how are we prepping ourselves to be in that position and take full advantage of the resources you have coming your way here in these next great years?
Yeah, I look around on some of the former student pictures on my walls, and I'm like, that kid's like 20 now, that kid's 21, that kid's in college, that kid is a parent already. Like, it goes so fast. This year goes so fast. As you get older, time just keeps going faster. But like I say, if you're putting in the work and you're doing the right things and you're showing yourself a high level of self-respect and you're doing all the things you need to be doing, like, yes, the responsibilities in life keep going up, but life just keeps getting better. If you're not being respectful to yourself and you're not making good choices, I can't sit here and look you in the eye and tell you life's going to get better. And so, Mr. Kessler, we really appreciate you joining us and taking the time. And I know that every year you guys look so forward to getting the next group of awesome young people in our building. And I'm hoping this is beneficial. I think it's going to be very beneficial to many of our students. So have a great school year, and thank you for taking the time to do this.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, let's give away some jelly beans. This week's winners: Robert Morris, Cadence Nielsen, Kate Hosking, Hannah Tisdale, Ansel Capino. What is something that is always out there? I believe it was, but you can't see. That would be the future. I also accepted tomorrow, which is obviously always the future. This week's jelly bean question of the week: what do you buy to eat but never consume? If it's me, maybe vegetables that rot in my refrigerator, but that is not the answer. If you think you know the correct answer, submit your answer to the Bob box. Get it turned in by the end of this week, which is Wednesday, and see if you're a winner the following week. All right, Bobcats, we got a short week. We got a cold week. Let's make it a great week.